Hello viewers, Super GT here. Welcome to round number 4 of the ORL V8 Supercars Championship. So, we are at Sebring, a very difficult track. We're going to have a nightmare on those curbs. They are absolutely hellish. I've qualified in 8th, as we can see here, for the grid of the A lobby. A couple of big names missing, but still very pleasing to get into this lobby. Away we go from the line on 4:10. Hamish ahead, getting a good start, trying to come across to just block off Psycho, but wasn't quite able to do it. I didn't get the best launch, and he got a slightly better one than I did. Almost into the back of Knee, our favourite Australian, in the hopper, or in the lobby. And then coming down towards turn number 2, side by side with Psycho again. I've got the outside line, almost into the back of Knee, so it looks like a repeat of turn 1. And then Psycho just giving me the room on the outside, I'm giving him the room on the inside. And then through the apex of 5, I've got the line and the drive to maintain 8th position. So at this point, we have maintained the position that we started in. The gap, though, is opening up between myself and Knee. It's going to get very close, though, as we go up into the hairpin of turn 7. Just make contact with the back of Knee, go a little bit sideways, and I'm going to lose a bit of momentum here in the Volvo. So we have changed car from the Mercedes at the start of the season. They're coming towards turn number 10 on the brakes once again, but a little bit late. Now this is perhaps one issue I have driving without the racing line. It can be hard to get your momentum going at the start of a race. It does require a couple of laps to get your bearings before you know really where you're braking totally. So you can see here I'm on the back foot at the end of lap number 1 of 8. Knee in 7th, getting a decent margin. He's stuck behind Hamish, who has jumped him at the start of the race. They're coming through this section towards the back straight, getting a little bit more together, and that's actually a little bit better from me there. So the gap opening up to about 100 feet between myself and Hayasa behind VBR Hayasa there. So that's a bit of a better sector into the final corner. A bit of carnage coming together there between Hamish and TX3 Senna. Not sure exactly how that happened, but Senna I know wasn't happy about it because there he goes, he quit the lobby, so he's not pleased. I guess he got aggrieved there. But I'm up into 6th place, of course, where I always seem to end up, and following Knee here. So that is 2 positions for free really, with no work having to be done. Gaining 2 positions. You can see the top 4 streaking away up in the lead there, just around the corner though. They're not too far away at this current moment, so just rounding out this sector of the lap, the first sector there. I'm going to flash forward to lap number 4. You can see the gap didn't really develop too much. I was still in touch with Knee, who I know is normally slightly quicker than me, or a bit quicker. He's definitely faster than I am, so I was pretty pleased to be able to keep with him. The top 4 still just around the corner, so I was pretty pleased that I was still keeping in touch with these guys. But then at the end I did come through to finish, of course, in 6th place. So there we go again, finishing in my favourite position of 6th. Not too bad actually. The top 10 will get reversed. Let's look at this new feature then. Speed Freak on pole position, finishing 10th in that race. So he's got pole. Joined on the front row by TX3 Venturi. Second row, Hamish, who had that coming together with Senna. He's joined by Psycho on row 2. There he is, the legend himself, GTR Super GT. 5th place, joined by Knee in 6th place. And then we have the 2 F4H guys on the 4th row. Force 1 just behind me there, directly behind. He's joined by Racers. AMS Roadrunner finishing 2nd, very fast driver. And he's joined on row 5 by Mr. Jack, who won the first race. ACR Dan in 11th, finishing 11th in that previous race, so the top 10 only getting reversed. Hayasa in 12th. TGT Sadistical in 13th. Scully Slash in 14th. And then rounding out the grid is Senna, who has rejoined the lobby. So that is the new feature that's been added as part of the new esports update. But off the line we go. Psycho getting an awful start. I think he just pulled off to the side to not get in anyone's way. I'm really not sure. So I'm up into 4th up at this initial stage. Going up the inside of Venturi, I've got the line through there, just about getting it done. Force 1 just behind me, making contact, but no worries about that. Into turn number 2, on the brakes, quite late, just going into the back of Hamish, but it's okay, he's maintained his second place. Into turn number 5, on the left-hander, just getting contact there from Venturi, and I'm going to lose a lot of positions because of that. Going to the back of Hamish, losing all my momentum. 2 F4H guys are through, as is Roadrunner, and now Mr. Jack on my left-hand side. So that is a really unfortunate collision. We have lost 4 positions because of that, and that's kind of ruined my chances here of getting maybe a podium, because the top 4 from the previous race have all gone past me. So it's going to be really difficult to get back past them and hold them behind for the entirety of the race. Getting a bit of a gap then over Hayato, who's done well to come through from 12th to 8th. Just behind here, Mr. Jack and Roadrunner, who finished 1st and 2nd in the previous race. So hopefully we can stick behind these 2 guys, maybe learn a thing or 2. So behind Mr. Jack, who won the race, these guys getting into the 205s for the quickest laps. 206s are good though as well, which I was able to do in this race, and I think I did a 206 in the previous race as well. So into this last section of the lap, just letting the car roll into the apex. Again, a little bit wide though. That seems to happen on my first laps in most races. I get a little bit off of the braking line and racing line, and it takes me a couple of laps to get into the proper swing of things. So then back down the back straight, the race has kind of calmed down a little bit, as it tends to do after at least half a lap of the first lap. So they're coming into the final turn. You can see there is quite a bit of a train going on around here. So we have Speed Freak still in the lead, so he was on pole, getting a good start, and F4H guys trailing him home in 2nd and 3rd at this stage. We move then to lap number 3. You see here the situation is very similar, so we still have a bit of a train going with the F4H guys 2nd and 3rd. Roadrunner has leapfrogged Hamish into 5th, or into 4th, sorry. Hamish in 5th. Mr. Jack looking for a way past Hamish. As we come round corner number 13, very dangerous curb on the exit there. You absolutely do not want to touch that one at all. It is more like a roller coaster if you go on that. So at the end of lap number 5 then, looking up the inside of Mr. Jack, he had a little bit of a room there on the inside, and I tried to get my way in there. On the exit, it's going to get really cosy, having to back out because I would have gone into the back of him had I not pulled off the accelerator just for a tiny moment there. So you can see the race is kind of backing up a little bit here. Speed Freak there is in 4th position, so he's lost a couple of positions. He was in the lead initially, but then going down into 4th. I don't think he has quite the same level as pace as some of these top drivers. He has been very fast though in previous lobbies, so I'm a little bit surprised that he's a little bit slower than usual. Into the side of Mr. Jack, I kind of saw a space, but it was not a good move at all. So Mr. Jack is going to try and catch up again. We know he has the speed to do that, and at the end of that lap he has done. So around the outside of Hamish gets sideways, and then Mr. Jack is through into 5th, and then that's going to put Hamish onto a bad line going in to turn number 16. I'm going to do a cutback and then get the drive down the back straight. He's got the Iron Brew livery there, and that's an absolutely beautiful drink. I love drinking that stuff. For those of you who don't know, it's a popular drink in Scotland. Let's put it that way, it's more popular than Coca-Cola, if you can believe that. But then into the final turn, so we're up into 6th place once again. We seem to find our home in this position. Again, a poor exit though onto the main straight, so this is going to put us on the back foot compared to Hamish as we go into turn 1. Is he going to go for a move? Looking for the fire engine on the right hand side for our braking point. He looks up the inside. We see his nose poking up into the bottom of the screen. I've just about maintained the position. There's no way he can lunge from that far back unless he is really silly. At the end of lap number 7 then, Mr. Jack has got past Speed Freak, so he's unleashed and will try to catch up with the rest of the pack up there. That's the top 3 he will try to catch up with. So we're behind Speed Freak, who's kind of been falling backwards a little bit in this race, so we're going to try to get through past him as quickly as possible, try and dispatch him and get away from Hamish, who's following us closely behind. But luckily he went into the pit lane at the end of that lap, pit stops had to be done between lap number 7 and 11, and then going to the end of lap number 9, so a little bit later, I tried to jump Speed Freak in this pit stop strategy. So diving into the pit lane, let's see if we have managed to get out ahead of Speed Freak. So on the exit of the pit lane, looking behind, there is the approaching traffic sign, so he is very close, but then just going to have a quick look behind. There he is. So we've jumped from about 100 feet behind to 100 feet ahead. So those 2 laps in differing strategy has turned out to be very helpful indeed. So that's worked out perfectly for me because I haven't lost any time trying to overtake him at all. So that is absolutely ideal. We then go to the end of lap number 10 as we cross to start 11. Looking on the right hand side there, that is Nee and that is Hamish. So we've jumped those 2 guys, or we stayed ahead. So actually I was thinking it would be a lot closer than what it was, but actually in the end I was good 200-300 feet ahead, which is very relieving, stress relieving. Hamish maintaining 6th and I'm up into 5th. So those guys will actually start battling because they came out so close to each other. Speed Freak came out in the middle of Nee and Hamish, that's how close it was, and I had about a 300 feet margin. I'm going to move to lap number 16. This is going to be my fastest lap, so we'll go through a quick lap. I had 2 bad laps, so I was on the back foot going to this one. Look for the fire engine on the right hand side going into the first turn. Hook up with a nice apex, very close to the wall, power out to the outside. Looking for the 300 marker on the right hand side, there it is. Braking on that, going down 2 gears, hooking up with the apex. Don't touch the curb on the left hand side. The one on the right you can take, just watch out on the throttle. Hooking up there, powering out onto this straight turn, or turn number 6, as we go towards the hairpin. We're going to brake between the first and second set of cones, so look out for those on the left hand side. There's the first one, braking halfway between the first and second set, going down into first gear, getting close to the curb without touching it, and again this curb just powering out. So through that hairpin you kind of let the car rotate before accelerating out, so just to avoid the curbs. As soon as you touch the curbs you're in big trouble. Again braking between the first and second set of cones, going down into second gear this time though, and then through turn 10, 11, 12 and 13, a very tricky section to get right. You can short shift through this left hander to keep the car from oversteering. Then braking at the end of the right hand curb, hooking up with the apex nicely. Avoid the curb on the outside at all costs because it will mess you up in big ways. And we are 2 temps up, or nearly 3 temps up on our previous best, which is a 206.7. So we're looking at a 206.4 if we can maintain a good line through these final turns. Watch out for the bump mid-turn there, accelerate after it, and then through the second to last turn, decent exit speed. That curve again quite dodgy, but not losing too much speed. We're still a quarter of a second up, so as long as we can get this final corner right, it's very hard to get this final corner right, but as long as we can, we'll be in for a good lap time. Turning in on the second line, braking on the third one, that'll give you a nice entry into this one. Keep the car rotated mid-turn, look for a late apex close to the grass, power out to the outside, and you've done yourself a very good lap. It's going to be a 206.4, there it is, my quickest lap in the race. Not too far off the top guys actually, so I'm pretty pleased with that. And then at the end of the race, there we go, a very pleasing performance. We've come through to finish in 5th. There were some big names missing, but still 6th and 5th in this lobby. I was very pleased with that. And for the first time ever, I tuned the car myself, so very pleased that my own tune actually worked. So very pleasing result overall. I felt very comfortable throughout the whole thing. Well done to racers and Roadrunner for a very close finish, which you should check out at the YMTV Twitch channel. I'll link that in the description. You can see just how close the finish was. It was 0.008 of a second. So good driving between the two of them at the end there. But that is going to bring an end to round number 4 of the V8 Supercars here at Sebring. I do hope you enjoyed the video. Tune in next week for round number 5 at Mount Panorama, which is going to be a very exciting round indeed. So I hope you can join me for that one. So do hit that like button guys if you enjoyed the video. Leave a comment down below. I will try to read all of the comments and reply to as many as I can. And I hope to see you in my next video. Thank you very much for watching. As always, I hope to see you next time. Goodbye.